Welcome back to Black Man Problems. Oosh, I am Anthony Brown.
And I'm Ciaran Callum.
And today we are going to be talking about the differences between light skin and dark skin and the beauty within both. Or the beauty in one and not so much in the other one.
Yeah, because not many people realise this. I was actually, before we had this conversation, I was talking to my housemate about this, and she didn't basically realise, I suppose, that most white people don't, is that even within the sphere of being black, like, dark skin is generally perceived as being less attractive than lighter skinned.
Yeah.
And it's actually like that as well with like Asian cultures and whatnot. So basically, my skin tone is supposedly more attractive than yours.
So look, let's just do a little demonstration. Look, with the faces here, right?
Side by side.
Side by side.
I mean,
there.
face just kind of goes without saying, really.
But so when I grew up as a kid in school, everything on the television, everything in media always portrayed the darker skinned black people, or just darker skinned ethnic minorities, as the uglier, less attractive people. And everything that was light skinned was beautiful. Everything you saw on TV, if you go back now and look at stuff on TV, you realise, oh my God, it really was like that.
You know, the weird thing is, it's like, since we decided to have this conversation, let me realise that this is like one issue that I have no...
input on it, because you've never had to go through it. You've never felt it, have you?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Have you seen it? Have you kind of seen it?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've been like tangentially aware of the fact that there was like some sort of schism between lighter skinned people and darker skinned people.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that I never, like, I've grown up with so many issues about myself.
Yeah.
Whether it's like whether or not I was ugly or fat or whatever, or was I smart enough. But my skin tone was never anything...
An issue?
No. I've always really liked it.
I've always like been aware of it, because obviously I was at the negative end of the spectrum because of it. So when you are at the negative end of the spectrum, you obviously feel it and see it a bit more. And there was a time where I was quite conscious about it, very conscious in fact. And then just through time and just kind of growing up and kind of learning more about my culture and darker the berry, sweeter the juice and all that kind of talk, is when I started to love myself a bit more. And now I have no kind of complex between my skin colour and my culture or anything like that. But for a time I did, but it was just what the media had portrayed. And once you kind of, because media can kind of brainwash you in a way.
Is that just the media, or is it a media and like other black people?
And other black people as well, because like the skin lightening products that they still use today, it's like it's a part of certain cultures. Like the fairer skinned people, even in like Asian, like Chinese culture, they're like the prettier ones. Have you seen that advert that came out?
Oh yeah, with the Chinese advert where she puts a black guy in the wash and then he comes out Chinese. Yeah.
And look, like white and clean, but she puts him in like and wash. It's almost like they wash all the dirt off his skin, and he becomes like a Chinese, very pale, white Chinese guy. And like, yay, that's what she wanted in the end. And she starts.
I saw that advert, and it's kind of like
that came out this year.
Yeah, but as bad as it is, it's like that detergent obviously isn't that good, because like it still came out a bit yellow. You know what I mean? It didn't properly clean him, did it?
It wasn't a true.
It should have come out as a white person, really, if they really wanted to like prove that point.
Exactly, but I can't believe that even was allowed to come out. I thought it was a hoax, and it actually wasn't.
One thing that's interesting is I went on holiday with a friend a few years ago, and when we were on the beach, he was applying sunblock. Now this is a black guy. Now, for any sort of like white people are watching, like, oh, what's wrong with him applying sunblock? It's like, really and truly, that's not something that black people tend to do. Like, I've never used it once, and like my family members tend not to either. However, this guy was applying sunblock, and not because he wanted to protect his skin. He didn't want to get a tan to be darker.
Yeah.
He was actively trying to prevent himself from getting darker.
Yeah.
So he was applying sunblock, which
I have done in the past, because I felt in the same way, whereas you don't really need to. Well, you do, because it is harmful. You still can get harmed from the sun rays, so apply sunblock, but we're not as susceptible as people with freckles and lighter skin and blah blah blah. But I know loads of black people that follow that same regime, because the exact same reason. They feel that getting darker is uglier, and they don't want to be blue black, where it looks purple almost.
Did you ever have situations occur where girls didn't like you because you were too dark?
Yeah, 100%. Like, and you hear girls say it today. Like, there used to be the whole, I date black guys only. You get those girls that just date black guys, whereas now, they'll be like, nah, date mixed race guys only. Do you know what I mean? Like, black's too much for them. It's got to be kind of mixed race because that's the new flavour. That's what's pretty. That's what everyone likes. That's what the media has sold to us as the new attractive kind of thing.
You know, apparently where that comes from. So, I don't necessarily know 1000%, but this is what I heard. That basically, like, when you went back into, like, slavery days and stuff, was, you know, certain slave masters used to have their way with their slaves.
No, this is where it comes from, you're right. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. And then, you know, like, some white slave owner would, like, bang a couple of his slaves and then knock out some mixed-race babies. But then, effectively, it's like, if a white person is, like, the epitome of what a human being should be, and then a black person is subhuman, a mixed-race person is, like, much better than a black person but not quite a white person. Therefore the treatment of that mixed race person would be better than the treatment of the dark proper black person. So as a result of like basically having all of these mixed race and fairer skinned people getting preferential treatment by like the white owners, that then sort of programmed black people to feel like, oh, these people are actually better, they're more beautiful, they're more intelligent, etc.
It's like you'd have it in if you watched that film with Samuel L. Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, and what's the other guy's name? He played the Electro character in the new Spider-Man movie.
Foxx.
So Jamie Foxx, that film.
Django Unchained,
right? So you saw they had the same kind of thing happen in that film where they had what they called the house nigger. So the house niggers were allowed in the house, so they would be like the pretty ones. So remember when Django's girlfriend was going to get the whipping, he didn't want her to get whipped or look unpretty or get damaged because she wouldn't be worthy of being the house nigger, because the house niggers were like probably lighter skinned, and you know what I mean? And all the dark niggers, they'd be out in the fields grafting. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably where a lot of this came from way back then. It was embedded, and still today it lies, and you know, we need to kind of get out of that shit.
So how did you go about sort of,
do you know what,
regaining your confidence?
The way I regained my confidence, because I knew it was a bad way of thinking, and I didn't want to think that way, so I said to myself, okay, then I'm going to be the darkest attractive guy that there is out there. I just kept telling myself that, because it just kind of made myself feel better, because it just felt like there wasn't a role model for the darker skinned people out there that wanted someone to kind of believe in as, you know, see as attractive. And I think just through seeing more darker skinned people on television getting, you know, recognized as, I don't know, attractive or talented or anything, it made me feel more confident as another dark skinned brother coming out as well. I'm talking like, wasn't that Idris Elba's coming out? He's getting a lot of props now. A lot of women, white women, black women are loving him. He's a darkest.
White women love Idris
a lot of white women love
Gosh,
Idris Elba saying that. A lot of people say I look like him. I don't know what they're talking about, but I'll take it. No,
take
saying.
compliment.
I'll take that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm not sure I see what you're saying,
but
you know,
I'll take the compliment.
Hashtag fuck it.
Fuck it. So like that's what kind of got me out of it. Just kind of seeing more the Dark Brothers get more airtime, because they were kind of being put. I mean, that again, the house niggas were on TV, and then the ones that were dark skinned were out in the fields, and that was kind of relayed in TV sense and media sense. We weren't getting no airplay, and if we were being like frowned upon and looked down upon.
So really, you had it super bad then, because like not only were you black, but like you're like the blackest of the black.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So
like you're the worst class of black.
Yeah, you're black, and you're the blackest of the black. So it's like it's bad enough being black in some cases, but then if you're a dark skinned black, it's like, oh, you have to work doubly, triply as hard now to impress anybody.
To be honest, though, like that whole notion doesn't even just go down to skin color. It permeates through black culture, like in other ways.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like you know how black people say someone has good hair.
Yeah.
So one thing to all of you non-black people who are watching, there's a phrase that black people often use, and it's black people in England that say that someone has good hair. And what they mean when they say someone has good hair is that that person's hair doesn't curl as tightly as like a full black person.
Like it might be mixed Asian or like Indian Asian.
Yeah, if your hair is basically like the more Western your hair is, the better it is, and that is good hair. And it's the same sort of thing. It's like your hair is like less to the core of what we are, therefore it's better.
Yeah,
and it's like,
why is that? And it's just what's been embedded. We've been taught to see ourselves as animals. We've been demonized. Even when, like, even going back to the men, black guys have big cocks because back in the day, what they wanted to do, they wanted to demonize us and saying that we were like animals, we have big cocks like horses and stuff like that. That was to frighten everyone away from us and to see us as animals, because when you start seeing black people as animals, that's when you can start slaughtering them because you see them less than human. That's what Akala was saying. He's been saying basically the minute that you start kind of referring to a race as animals, that is
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. He's referring to the cockroach comment that frigging racist twat said. What's her name? The white woman. You know, let's not publicize.
Let's not even go into that anymore.
Yeah.
But you see where it leads. Do you know what I mean? Just on a darkness of skin color, it doesn't even really make sense to kind of differentiate, especially if it's within your own race, because black people are now starting to be prejudiced against themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like in Jamaica, they're taking skin lightening products, and then same in India, like a product that literally lightens the color of your skin and it looks terrible as well when it happens. I'm gonna try and find some pictures and upload them so you can see them. But trust me, it doesn't look right.
The interesting thing is as well, because there's gonna be a few people who are watching this who think that we're like speaking about white people per se or like racism per se. Not really. Like a lot of this stuff is actually like say within the black culture itself. Whereas, say, for instance, my mum is quite light skinned and my mum was always praised for it.
Yeah. My mum is too. She's very light skinned.
And I was praised for having relatively pale skin, and it's like, I don't know, man, doesn't really say good things, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Why should we be prejudiced to our own race and culture? Like I mentioned in one of our previous talks that in a lot of Indian culture and religions, they marry not into just their religion, they marry into their caste, meaning that they will marry into a kind of particular tone of colour, the same kind of tone of colour that they're married into, because back in the day in India, the darker skinned Indians were usually in the fields, in the farming kind of area. It's the same like the house niggers, they were the darker skinned Asians were like farming, and then the lighter skins were usually more wealthy and rich, so that's why they kind of marry into castes as well. So we segregate in society, we segregate within our own races, and the segregation just needs to stop so everyone can just feel happy about themselves.
Yeah. Segregate between football teams.
Exactly.
We're Villa, they're Aston, Blues.
Exactly.
I'm a Mac, I'm a PC.
Exactly.
I'm Apple, I'm Samsung.
Humans just feel it is
like,
actually a
people
natural...
just love to pick teams.
They do.
People just love to like find
and
some
fight
excuse,
over it. Hooliganism.
some excuse.
Why do we just want to segregate and categorize and hate each other?
You know what we need?
What do we need?
We genuinely need Independence Day to happen.
No, we do.
Like literally.
You know what? I've said this. It's like the Watchmen, because it would unify everyone.
Yeah.
If we had a common enemy
Yeah.
that we all had to face,
And we'd have to fight that enemy for like 20 years.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be just like they came down and like
one day.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a
it'd have
struggle,
to be like a long time.
and then we
For,
beat
like, for us to work together.
Yeah.
And you've got like, say, I don't know, you've got what's the name of those people? The ISIS. There we go. You've got ISIS fighting side by side with American soldiers.
Exactly.
You have to set all of our differences aside. We'll
That
work
is
it
the only way
side.
it would work. It's the only way that we would actually unify, and that's the scary thing. That something that big and that catastrophic would have to happen to unify the planet as a whole, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
And if you watch The Watchmen, that kind of superhero film, or read the book, that's exactly what he meant by... Go watch the film, you'll see me. That's exactly what we've just talked about. So we just need some aliens to come down and cause Independence Day.
Effectively.
So on that note, I was going to say bye.
Bye, Leah.
Bye.
Love you.
Hello, aliens.
Hello, aliens.
Take the white people first.
Yeah. If you were talking to aliens, okay, let's leave it right there. If you were talking to aliens and you had to like give like a man and a woman from one race from Earth to show us like the average human being on the planet, what would you give them? You just have to show them an image and say this is the average human being. Yeah, that's just an image you're showing to an alien. They're like, oh, that's a lion, that's a tiger, that's a human. What human do you show?
That is a very,
what human do you
very
show?
interesting point.
Exactly. So
I'd probably show someone that look like a mix. Cause you know how they say like when we through, I don't know, not evolution, but just through like living, everyone's going to become like a certain coffee colour.
Yeah,
because
tan.
or the mix of kind of races will kind of go into that. I try and find someone that looks as much like that as humanly possible, and then they've got a kind of a nice scope of what a human being looks like. Because you wouldn't want them just white, black. Because if it was black, they'd think everyone
Exactly.
was black.
Exactly.
Everyone was
you
white.
have to show them an image that's gonna like correlate to what they're probably gonna see.
Yeah.
If they're just casually strolling
Most
across.
likely, yeah.
So maybe that could be something you guys can ask yourselves as well.
Yeah. What human would you pick
If you had
to
to
best
pick,
demonstrate the human
if you-
race?
if you gotta pick one man and one woman from one particular
How
race.
would their hair look?
Yeah, what would
Would
they?
it- yeah. Anyway, you'd let us know in the comments.
We are rambling.
It's like
No,
we're
you
done
know,
now.
we're done. We're done. It's
Come
fine.
in.
It's fine. Come in. And with that, see you later.
Bye.